Assalamu alaikum students and a very good morning to you all. How are you all? Am I audible to you all? Please reply me in the chat box. Can you hear me students? Is my voice clear to you? Okay on, thank you so much for your timely response. All right everyone, so I have shared the screen. Can you see the screen? Can you see my screen students? Okay, all right. So let's start our today's lecture. Walaikum assalam, Ushna. Walaikum assalam, everyone. Okay, students, this is our English literature lecture, lecture number 15. So we were reading the lesson, A Treasure Hunt. We have already read the two chapters of our lesson, the first two chapters of our lesson, A Treasure Hunt. Okay, now we have to read the third one. But before starting our today's lecture, let's revise the last lectures. Okay, I hope you have your English books in front of you. You have your novel, The Adventure of Tom Sawyer, in front of you, and you have your pencils in your hands so you can underline the difficult words with me. Okay, you have to underline the difficult words or the new words with me along with the RTCs. Okay. Yes, today is your homework submission day. I hope you all have done your homework. You have to submit your English language copies today, okay? Good morning everyone and walaikum assalam. So let's start our today's lecture. We are going to read page number 48 and 49 today. But before starting the reading, let's just quickly review our previous lecture, okay? The haunted house. I hope you remember that Tom had a new adventure in the haunted house. He went there with his friend Huck to find the buried treasure, okay? Tom and Huck decided to find some buried treasure. Tom said they should dig in the haunted house. Huck agreed with Tom. When they reached the haunted house, they felt a little frightened. It looked very ghostly. The walls were falling down. There was no glass in the windows and grass grew everywhere. So what happened? They decided to go to the haunted house to find the buried treasure. In the beginning, Huck was very frightened. He was not ready to go, but Tom convinced him, okay? He convinced him by saying that the haunted house is not that ghostly, it is not that scary, and he made him realize, he assured him that the ghost only comes out during the night, and they were about to go during the daytime. Okay, so they reached the haunted house. They were a little frightened in the beginning because the house was so ghostly. The walls were falling down. There was no glass in the windows and grass grew everywhere. They looked around, threw their tools in the corner and went upstairs. As I told you, they went there to find the buried treasure. So they took some tools with them to dig for the treasure. Okay, Umema, that's great. Yes, Shanti, it's today. You have to submit your language copy today. Okay, Bidden, let's concentrate on the lecture. Now we will discuss these things in the end, okay? So now tell me, where did they go to find the buried treasure? Where did they go to find the buried treasure? Yes, very nice. Very good on. Very good, Hadika. Very nice, Javidia, Iman, Hamza. Excellent. They went to the haunted house to find the buried treasure. And what did they do? In the beginning, they were little frightened. Then they were relaxed after some times. They threw their tools in the corner and went upstairs. Okay. They noticed Spaniard and Joe entered in the house. When they were there, they noticed the movement of two men. And who were they? Spaniard and Joe. Okay. Spaniard and Joe entered in the haunted house. Joe's tired and he wanted to sleep, so he told the other men to keep watch. Spaniard watched him for a time, but soon he was asleep too. What happened? Joe was so tired and he wanted to sleep, so he asked his friend Spaniard to keep the watch. Spaniard watched him for a time, but soon he was asleep too. So both of them were asleep. Okay. Tom and Huck took a deep breath when they observed them sleeping. Tom and Huck, as you know, were so frightened to see Joe and Spaniard in the haunted house. They were so frightened that they were not even talking. They were just whispering, and they were still at their positions. Okay, so when they found that they are asleep, they took a deep breath. So this was the quick review of our first chapter, The Haunted House. Now we are going to see the treasure, the second chapter of our lesson, treasure. Okay. At last, Tom got up very slowly and softly and started to move across the floor. Why was he moving so slowly? Why was Tom moving so slowly? Yes. Here I have written that Tom got up very slowly and softly and started to move across the floor. So why he was moving so slowly and softly there? Just to make sure that the other two men, Joe and Spaniard, yes, yes, excellent, because of Engine Joe and Spaniard, they were making sure that they do not wake up. Okay, very good, honey. So at last Tom got up very slowly and softly and started to move across the floor. Engine Joe sat up and was angry to see his friend fast asleep. Engine Joe woke up before his friend Spaniard, okay? And he was so angry to see him fast asleep because he asked him to keep the watch, okay? Engine Joe asked his friend what to do with the money. He said that it's no use taking it away until they go south. $650 in silver was too much to carry. So Engine Joe asked his friend what to do with the money they were having. Okay, they had $650 in silver and it was too heavy to carry with them. Okay, so they decided to bury it properly. They decided to bury that money, that $650 in silver. Okay, they decided to bury those silvers there in the haunted house. While digging, Joe's knife struck a box full of gold coins. They decided to get the box up quickly with the help of pick that Spaniard had seen in this corner. When Joe and Spaniard decided to bury the silver there in the haunted house, they found a box full of gold coins. Okay, because Joe's knife struck a box, and when they searched, they found that box. They knew that it was full of treasure, and they found gold coins in that box. Okay, so they decided to get the box up quickly with the help of the pick. Pick is a tool, okay, with the help of the pick that Spaniard had seen in the corner. Whose pick was that? Do you remember? I told you in the beginning that the two boys threw their tools downstairs and they went upstairs to see what was there, right? So it was actually their pick, okay? Are you getting me? Is it clear? Yes, Hania Rahim, very good. It was Tom's and Huck's pick. Pick is a tool, okay? And they brought those tools with them to dig the ground to find the buried treasure, okay? Very good, Abdullah. Very nice, Hamza, Yusera. Excellent. So we have reviewed our previous two lessons or our previous two lectures. Now we are going to read the third chapter of our lesson, okay? Means the last one. Injun Joe comes up the stairs. You remember that those two boys means Huck and Tom were upstairs, right? They threw their tools downstairs and they went up to see what was there, okay? And Injun Joe and Spaniard were downstairs. They were talking with each other. They slept there and they found the pick, okay, when they were digging to bury the silver, okay. Now Injun Joe comes up the stairs. This is something dangerous. Now let's read to see what happened next, okay. He ran and brought the boys' pick and shovel. You know what a pick and shovel? These are tools used for digging the ground, okay? Shovel is also called spade. He ran and brought the boys' pick and shovel. Injun Joe took the pick, looked at it for a minute or two, shook his head, and began to use it. Spaniard brought that pig because he had seen the pig there in the corner. So he took that pig and gave it to Injun Joe. And Injun Joe started using that pig to dig the ground. Okay. The box was soon lying on the floor. It was not very large. It had iron bands around it and had been very strong before the years had rotted it away. Rotted is something that is very old and can easily be broken, okay? So the box was soon lying on the floor. They soon got that box up on the floor. It was not very large. It was a small box and it had iron bands on around it, okay? That box had some iron bands around it to lock that box, okay? And had been very strong before the years had rotted it away. It was so old that it was rotted, okay? Now it could be easily broken by the man. There are thousands of dollars here, said Injun Joe. People used to say that Muriel gang used this place one summer, said his friend. His friend means Spaniard told Injun Joe that people used to say that Muriel gang is the name of the gang, used to use this place one summer, okay? I know, replied Injun Joe, and this looks like their money. Injun Joe said that the box that was having gold coins belonged to Muriel gang who visited that place one summer, okay? Now you don't need to do that job. The Indian looked at his friend fiercely. I'm not doing the job just for money, he said. Who was not doing the job for money? Who said this? I'm not doing the job just for money. Tell me the speaker of this line. Yes, excellent. Iman Adnan, very nice Varda, very good Hibal, very nice Hani. Injan Joe said these words, okay? Injan Joe said that he was not doing this job just for money. He was actually doing this job for the revenge, okay? It's revenge I want. I need your help. When it's finished, we'll go to Texas, go home to your wife and children, and wait till you hear from me. He said that he was not doing that job for the money, but for the revenge. Okay, he wanted to take revenge. And he said that when it's finished, they will go to Texas. Okay. Well, if you say so, what shall we do with this money? Shall we bury it again? What he said? He asked what to do with the money they got. Okay. Yes, the boys were very pleased to hear this. Why they were pleased to hear this? They were actually pleased to hear this because they were thinking that if Joe and his Spaniard will leave that money, will leave that treasure there in the haunted house, they will get those treasure. They will get that box. Okay. No, wait! I'd nearly forgotten. What are the pick and shovel doing here? The boys were sick with the fright. What happened? First, they said yes. Okay, first he said yes, he's going to. Yes, for what? He said yes, we should bury the treasure back here in the haunted house. But later he said no, because he had actually forgotten that there were pick and shovel already in the haunted house. So he said, what are that pick and shovel doing here? Now after listening this, the boys were so frightened, okay? Who brought them here and where have they gone? Have you heard anybody? Seen anybody? We'd be fools to bury it again and let them find the ground newly dug. We'll take it to my hiding place. Now Injun Joe was so smart, he said that it would not be smart, it would not be a smart act, it would be a foolish thing to do this. What? To bury it back in the haunted house. Okay? Because he was asking, have you heard anybody? Have you seen anybody? And where have they gone? So he was interrogating about the boys. Okay? Because Tom and Huck were actually there. Okay? And those tools belong to Tom and Huck. So he said that we would be fools to bury it again and let them find the newly dug ground. Okay, we'll take it to my hiding place. Indian Joe said that they should take the treasure or the treasure box with them to his hiding place. Now his hiding place, we will get to know where was his hiding place and where was that secret place. Okay, why? Of course, we should have thought of that before. You mean number one? So his friend Spaniard asked that, is this number one where we are going to take this treasure? Indian Joe said that no, number two under the cross. Now you must be thinking, what is number one and number two? Do you have any idea what is number one and number two? What are they talking about? Do you have any idea, any guess? No. No on, it's not that. One treasure, two treasure, no. It's the, like, it's a code word for the For the place, for the hiding place that they were going to use. Yes, Pariza and Yusera, you are so close to the correct answer. Very nice, very good. So it was a place where they were about to go just to hide the treasure they got from the haunted house. Okay. Yes, Hani, very good. It when they said number one and number two, they actually meant a place where they were planning to hide the treasure. Okay. Oh, that's great, Yusera. Then you must know where what is number one and number two. Excellent. Yusera is saying that she has already read the whole novel, so she must know what is number one and number two. I'm not going to disclose it yet. Let's read the lesson. No, but the number one and number two are uh, not the places present in the haunted house. It was somewhere else. Okay. So let me just disclose that number two is actually the room number two in an inn. Okay, inn is in means hotel. Okay, so number two means the room number two in the hotel that was the hiding place. Yes, that they were planning to use to hide the treasure they got from the haunted house. Let's just continue the reading. All right, it's nearly dark enough to start. Injunjo got up and went about from window to window, carefully looking out, because Injunjo was actually thinking about the tools that were there in the haunted house. So he was thinking that there were some people before they came, okay, or there are still some peoples present in the haunted house. So he was just moving from window to window and he was carefully looking out to find those people or to find those boys out, okay. At last he said, who could have brought those tools here? Do you think they can be upstairs? Then in the last, he said he asked his friend Spaniard that who could have brought those tools there in the haunted house, and he asked him if he think that they can be upstairs. So the two boys, Tom and Huck, were listening to them very carefully and very quietly. Okay, the boys nearly died from the fright. Injunjo put his hand on his knife, turned, and made his way to the staircase. Now they were so frightened because they knew that Indian Joe was planning to come upstairs, and he put his hand on his knife and he made his way towards the staircase. Okay. Where were Tom and Huck at that time? Where were Tom and Huck at that time? Yes, you have to answer me this question. Till then, I'm taking your attendance. Where were Tom and Huck that time? You have to answer me this question in the chat box. Okay, very good. Very nice. I have got your answers. They were hiding upstairs. They were upstairs at that moment. They were lying on the floor. They were hiding upstairs in the haunted house. Tom and Huck were upstairs. It's all your answers. Very good, Yusera. Hebal, Varda, Abdullah, and everybody is giving me correct answer. Paniza, Mohammed On. You, Sarah, excellent, very nice. So they were upstairs, they were hiding there, they were lying on the floor and listening to the men, means they were listening to Engine Joe and Spaniard. They were listening to their discussions and they were so frightened to know that they were coming upstairs. Actually, Engine Joe was coming upstairs with his knife in his hand, okay? The boys were just about to jump up and run for their lives when there was a crash. The stairs broke and Injun Joe landed on the ground on a pile of the rotten wood. He stood up. He was very angry. His friend said, "If there is anybody up there, let them stay. Who cares?" What happened? When Injun Joe was going upstairs, suddenly the staircase broke down and he landed on the ground on the pile of rotten wood. Okay, and he fell down on the ground. Okay, but his friend Spaniard said that if there is anybody up there, let them stay because they are not going, they cannot harm them. It will be dark in 15 minutes. I think the person who brought those things in here saw us coming and thought we were ghosts or devils or something. They will have run away by now. I expect they are miles away. So Spaniard said that whoever brought those tools here in the haunted house must have ran away now. Okay? Joe agreed with his friend. In a short while, when it was dark, they left the house. They went towards the river, taking their silver and the box of gold coins with them. Silver, they were already having $650 in silver, and the box of gold coins. And the box of gold coins, from where did they get the box of gold coins? They got that box of gold coins from the haunted house while digging for the treasure. Okay, while digging for burying the silver. Okay. Tom and Huck got up and watched them through holes in the wall. They jumped to the ground safely and went towards the village. They didn't talk much. They were very angry with themselves for leaving the pick and shovel inside. If Joe had not seen those, he would have never worried about anyone else being there. He would have buried the silver and gold and gone away. Then the boys could have dug it up. Oh, what bad luck! They agreed to look out for that Spaniard when he came to the village. Then they could follow him to number 2, though they didn't know where that might be. Means Tom and Huck had no idea about number 2. Okay? They didn't know what is number 2. Then Tom had an awful thought. So what happened? Tom and Huck were very angry with themselves as they had realized that they had done a great blunder by leaving their tools in the haunted house. Okay? And it was a proof that someone had entered there with intention to take out the treasure. So this thing gave a hint to Injun Joe, and he did not bury the treasure there in the haunted house, and he took that treasure, the silver and the gold box with him, and he was about to hide those treasure in the number 2, and Huck and his friend Tom had no idea about number 2. Then after this, Tom had an awful thought, revenge. What if he means us, Huck? So now he was thinking about the words uttered by Injun Joe. Okay, now he was thinking about the word revenge, and he said that what if he meant us means what if he meant them. Okay, oh don't, said Huck, nearly falling down in fear. After listening to this, Huck was so frightened. They talked about it as they entered the village. They agreed to believe that he might have meant somebody else. Or perhaps he had only meant Tom because it had been Tom who had spoken at the time. First, they made themselves relax by thinking that no, they are Indian Joe didn't mean them by saying revenge, and then later he said that he might have meant Tom because it was Tom who had spoken the truth at the trial. Okay. So this is all about our last chapter. Now we are going to see the key points of the chapter very quickly. Joe's friend ran and brought the boy's pick and shovel, and Joe began to use it. Joe's friend told him that people used to say that Newell gang used this place one summer and this looks like their money. Joe said that he was not doing the job for money but for the revenge. They were deciding whether they should bury the treasure again or not. Suddenly they started thinking, what are the pick and shovel doing here and who brought them? They said they would be fools to bury it again and let them find the ground newly dug. They decided to take it to Joe's hiding place, and it was number 2 under the cross. Okay. At first, they decided to bury it there in the haunted house, but then they were so suspicious to find that tools there in the haunted house. So they decided to take that treasure with them and to hide those treasure in the Joe's hiding place that was number 2 under the cross. The stairs broke when Joe was going upstairs in search and he landed on the ground. In this way, the both boys, means Tom and Huck, were saved. Okay. When it was dark, they went towards then when it was dark, they went towards the river, and there, with their silver and box of gold coins with them, Tom and Huck went towards the village. They were very angry for leaving the pick and shovel because if Joe had not seen those tools there, he would have buried the silver and gold and gone away. Then they could have dug it up because the boys, means Tom and Huck, knew and they had seen where were they digging. Okay. Tom had an awful thought. He started thinking what Joe was talking about, the revenge. They feared that if that revenge meant to be for Tom because he had spoken truth at the trial. Okay? Because Tom, I hope you remember the story that Tom spoke truth in the day of trial, and it was revealed that the Indian Joe was real murderer and Muck Potter was innocent in this connection. Okay. So now Tom was Tom was frightened of Indian Joe because he knew that if Indian Joe found Tom, he would kill him. Okay, so Tom had an awful thought about the revenge. He started thinking what Joe was talking about the revenge, and they feared if that revenge meant for them. And then later they relaxed themselves by saying that no, that revenge, by saying the revenge, Indian Joe meant someone else. It was not them. Okay, but later they thought that it might be Tom because it was Tom who spoke truth in the trial and revealed and exposed Indian Joe as the real murderer of Dr. Robinson. Okay, I hope this lesson is clear to you all and you know the whole story. If you have any confusion or if you want to ask any question related to the topic or related to anything, you may go ahead now. We are done with the reading. We have discussed the key points and we have also reviewed the previous chapters that we read in our last 2 lectures. Okay, so that's all If you have any question, go ahead. If you want to ask anything, please ask me in the chat box. Suhail is asking what is number 1 and 2. We have not been no question. Okay, Ibrahim. All right. Okay, on. So, Saad, you were asking for number 1 and number 2. We have not been told about this in this lesson, in this chapter. But for your question, I am going to answer it. Number 1 and number 2 are the hiding places. Okay, these were the hiding places that Joe used to use for burying or for hiding the treasure he gets. Okay, and number 2 was actually the room number 2 in the hotel, in the inn. Okay. Very good, Hania Rahim. Now, if you have time, please do read this novel. It's very interesting and you will get the answer of all your questions. Hibal is asking me something. Let me read your question, Hibal. Yes, Hibal is asking me a very good question. She's saying that everybody knew in the village that Indian Joe was the real murderer. So was Muff Potter still in the prison? Beta, he was released. He was released from the prison because it was revealed, it was exposed that Indian Joe was actually the real murderer. Now, when he was about to be prisoned, when he was about to be captured in the on the day of trial, Indian Joe ran away. He jumped from the window of the courtroom. Remember? So, in this way, he managed to escape the courtroom, but Muff Potter was definitely released from the prison because he was innocent in that connection. Okay, Hibar? So we are done now. Since you are not having any question, any confusion, it's great that you all are giving me correct answers. So there is no homework for today because it's not your homework day. I'm going to post the homework on Monday. The rest of the questions, question number 4 till 6, and the summary of this lesson, okay? That's all for today. I hope you have enjoyed today's lecture. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for being on time, everyone. Uh, yes, if you have any question, we still have 1 minute to go. Yes, Varda. Engine Joe jumped from the courtroom window to escape from the courtroom, okay, to escape from the court. All right. So that's all for today. Thank you, everyone, once again. I'll be back with another lesson on Monday, inshallah. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz. Thank you everyone for the appreciation. Thank you. It's great that you like the slides and you like the lecture. Thank you. Okay. Bye everybody. Allah Hafiz.